Contact on Mars Part 6. Chronicles of a Dirty World and Space Corruption. Any similarity to reality is purely coincidental. We rushed out of the Schrödinger lab, dodging obstacles and avoiding the Ganymede fans. The atmosphere was tense. The threat of being discovered hung over us like the sword of Damocles, dangling by a thread. We took refuge in an old tunnel on the outskirts of the city.
To Althea's question about how much time we need, I replied, I will need at least a day to decipher this data, but with the constant interference from the fans, it could take longer. And I continued typing furiously on a huge and powerful 1024-element computer.
While Schrödinger was working, my systemic artificial intelligence developed research on quantum transfer, but I was not supposed to demonstrate our technology to the people of this dystopia, at least not for the moment. Althea and Carl were discussing possible escape routes and contingency plans in case they were discovered. Carl, for his part, keeping his artificial intelligence and digital bots a secret. He watched the entrance of the cave and the horizons with his laser ready, prepared for any eventuality. The minutes passed slowly, each second felt like an eternity. Finally, Schrödinger looked up from his screen, with an expression of relief and exhaustion.
I have it, I said. These data reveal that the turning point when history was altered.
That explains a lot, I said, feeling a mix of horror and amazement, and I thought, how did he manage it with that outdated junk? He must be a genius. And I said, we have to keep taking action.
It won't be easy. We need to protect this information. The resistance in Ceres can help spread the truth and organize an offensive.
Althea was convinced that we were only seeking the true information for the sake of justice, which was indeed true in concept, but she couldn't imagine that Carl and I were after a deeper answer. And how do we plan to get there, to Ceres, without being detected? I asked.
I have an old friend with contacts in Ceres. He's a smuggler. He will be able to get us off Mars. But we need to reach their ship at the spaceport, which is infiltrated by the fanatics.
The mission was clear. Reach the spaceport and, having contacted the smuggler Zephyr without being intercepted, managed to escape from the agents infiltrated by the autocracies. We knew the road would be dangerous, but we had no other option. We prepared for the trip, making sure all the elements were in place. Althea guided us through the underground, avoiding the fans and using old routes from the first colonies. Finally, we arrived at the spaceport, a bustling and chaotic place. The Ganymede fans were everywhere. We blended into the crowd, keeping a low profile and moving towards the cargo ship platforms, where Zephyr's ship was located. Althea, pointing, whispered,
There it is, in that old cargo ship with the emblem of a star and blue stripes.
We approached stealthily, but just as we were about to board the ship, a group of fans intercepted us. A shootout broke out, magnetic accelerator shots flying in all directions between fans and port security agents. Cole and Reiner, with their deadly laser beam weapons, covered our retreat while Althea and I ran towards the ship. Those interesting lasers, if I understand how they work, the idea kept rolling around in my thoughts.
Zephyr, a rough-looking man with scars on his face and an artificial eye, greeted us with concern.
Get up quickly, he shouted. We don't have much time.
We hurried aboard as Zephyr took off, amidst the cheers of the fans and skillfully maneuvering between the parked ships.
I hope you have a good plan. Because this is just the beginning of our journey.
Zephyr's ship sailing through space. It was the same Zephyr who had connected us with Schrödinger, taking us away from the immediate threat of the Ganymede fanatics. Leaving the Martian atmosphere, we were safe on board for the moment. Althea and Schrödinger were reviewing the downloaded data, while Reina and I were reassessing the situation.
We need a plan to get to Ceres without being detected.
Ceres won't be easy. The surveillance is intense and the routes are under military control by one side or the other, and we are going without a flight plan. But there is a possibility. I know an old smuggling route. It's dangerous and full of debris and trash among the asteroids.
It's a risk we must take, I said. We have no other choice. Zephyr nodded, adjusting the enormous and outdated controls and levers of the ship, plotting the course on the screen. And some exaggerated atomic engines roared inside, making the structure vibrate and crushing us into our seats with the sudden acceleration. leaving behind the Martian port and a good dose of radiation contained by expensive magnetic fields.
We are heading towards the junk belt at more than 11 gravities and increasing. Stay alert and prepare for any eventuality.
The trip to the garbage belt was intense. Between a massive acceleration and several sudden decelerations, a quantity of space debris and other abandoned junk kept hitting the ship's front hull. Zephyr maneuvered manually with the moderate skill of experience. Tensions increased with every sudden movement, but everyone maintained their focus.
Suddenly, the alarms started to ring. A squadron of fighters was approaching rapidly.
Shit. They found us out. This is going to get ugly and really messy.
The ship shook with each impact, but Zephyr maintained control, zigzagging with evasive maneuvers to shield himself from the shots among the debris.
We need to get rid of those fighters, or we won't reach Ceres with them behind us.
If we can lure them to the center of the debris pile, we could detonate an atomic engine and the nuclear explosion could cover us and then we could burst out. Can you do it? It's risky, but can it work?
Of course. Hold on tight.
It was Zephyr's shout, accelerating to the maximum and shooting out of the debris belt, leaving the enemy fighters behind, enveloped in a nuclear flash. The space opened up before us, and the view of Ceres appeared on the primitive round screen. We all breathed a sigh of relief, but we knew that the real battle was just beginning. We landed in a safe area of Ceres, where various people from the Resistance were waiting for us. They were from different ethnic groups adapted to life in space environments, and there were undoubtedly some Earthlings among them. They welcomed us with enthusiasm, knowing that we brought crucial information for their cause. "Thank you all for making it this far," said the leader of the Resistance. "We know it has been a difficult journey, but your courage and determination are inspiring." "We're not done yet," replied Schrödinger, showing the data. "We need to analyze this information and find a way to stop the constant lies of autocracies and their slavery based on deception." The Resistance members nodded, and we headed to a safe place to start working. We knew that the road ahead would be difficult, but we were determined to fight for truth and freedom, and to return to our true home. We settled in a well-hidden place beneath the surface of the dwarf planet. There, Schrödinger and the Resistance leaders delved into the data analysis. Meanwhile, Althea, Call, and I prepared for what was to come. "We are nearing the end of the road," I said, looking at my companions. "But there are still many unknowns. We must be ready for anything." "We know," replied Rhina. "But no matter what happens, we will face it together." The Resistance informed us that they had intercepted communications from the autocracies, revealing a plan to launch a massive attack against Ceres. We didn't have much time. Schrödinger worked tirelessly, seeking a way to reverse the public manipulation and distortion. Finally, he took a step back and announced,
I got it. I can create a device that neutralizes false communications, but I will need access to the main frequencies.